Hello, let's talk about harvesting because, like everyone I know, if you're busy producing stuff and busy other ways, um, I always forget to do this, you know, busy work and actually harvesting all the plants. And as you see, they're all kind of empty. At least now, just now we see some basic stuff in it. So I decided to hire an NPC doing the tedious work for me. He's just standing here and minding his business, which is, according to the script, doing the gardening, harvesting. Now they're empty again. Okay, I guess this is just some display bug. Anyway, let's check. Yeah, he's actually doing something. So, how does script work? I mean, there's several things to keep in mind, consider. I'm not quite sure on this terminology. Anyway, what we do need is obviously a garden and a fridge and an NPC. Um, Usually by default it's this one unless your server administrator has enabled other NPCs. But by default it's always this human at the console, which is also the default NPC you're gonna place if you select the crew member's human. So nothing to worry about, just place the default one, which I hope most will do anyway. So what we do need in the fridge is some credits. He'll charge a certain amount of credits per field, and the base in Reforged Eden, but it also works with the vanilla plots, which are required to, oh yeah, right, as you see on the ground, because you gotta place them up here, so it'll also work with those. Now what we do need is coordinates, and that part might be kind of tricky because we do need, I hope you see the mouse because it's the in-game mouse, we do need coordinates. And while it might be irritating that you see my pos at the top line, this is the world or playfield coordinates. It's not the coordinate on the structure, which is the one we need. So we go to the bottom line, all here, and we see here these three numbers, which is 22, 1, 25, 14, because I'm looking straight forward, not on the bottom, not on the floor, and not on the ceiling, just straight forward. So we have 22, 1, 25, and 14, and we, oh great, I can fall into this. This is the one, and it would help if I'd be able to, G. It would help if I'd be able to get behind this. Oh, I am, great. And this would be 14. Okay, easy to remember, it's just the other way around. 125 minus 2. So, what to do with these coordinates, you might ask. So, we're going to the script, which can be placed anywhere and could be accessed by the P menu devices. It's one of those, I'm not quite sure, but assuming, why do they both start with 23? One will be 14. Anyway, I guess it's this one. It doesn't matter because I have two levels, so I need two scripts, because the script can only work on one level and within a certain range as well. So the range is about 25 to 30-ish. I haven't counted the precise range, but it's round about that. You can try it. It's kind of trial of error, because if it's more narrow, it might be longer, and if it's more like a square, it might be shorter. So that's about it. What we need to do is place the first three coordinates as the first three numbers, and the second three coordinates, well, the same three coordinates, but from the opposite corner, on the last. So it's always recommended, so you don't have any, like empty spots or area within the area you can define, because we're pointing or telling the script now to check the range or the area between those two coordinates. So I mean, you can build other stuff around it or within it. That doesn't matter. It's just kind of waste of area you have available within the script. So that's about to consider. So this is the one thing. And the next thing to consider is that you have to name the fridge here and the coordinates, and the same one here, the lower ones of the NPC. And the false is referring to harvest the, if you're on a planet, or as you've seen here in space, if air gets lost or power is lost and the plants die, if it should harvest the dead plants, which is more expensive than the actual plants. So you don't want that. You can waste quite a bunch. I haven't experienced myself, I have to admit that, but I've been told it's originally like 50k just for dead plants, which is quite annoying. I mean, it's not that money is much of an issue within the game, but it's still just a waste of money. Anyway, so we named the fridge, and we named the coordinates of the NPC, and that's literally about all that is to be said. Let's go back again. So let's just check the coordinates of the NPC, because I've seen people having issues with that. So he's 21, 125, 17, 21, 17. And let's move all the way back. (21, 125, 17). So it's this one. And the fridge is already named. So that's most of it. Now for the script itself, there's one special thing as explained in my tutorial. You might want to add the square bracket plus 12 or whatever number, and with another square bracket before the actual name. So you will actually see the stuff done. Because if I remove that, if I remove those for demonstration and remove, yeah, you see the screen goes empty. But once I add that again, plus 12, because it's just a task that is just a few seconds long, and it vanishes afterwards. So it's just checking, giving the output while the check is lasting, and on the next cycle there's nothing done, which clears the screen. So you want to preserve that by the plus 12 within square brackets after the double point. after this one. So you can actually see, okay, it is working. So that's the one big deal to help troubleshoot whether you have the right height or whether it's checking the right rear or how far it goes. So that's quite of an important step. But other than that, it's everything to be said. Quite simple, quite easy. It's the most tricky part, and I've had this over and over again, so I'm sorry for repeating, but it's very important that you pick the lower three coordinates, the lowest ones on the bottom line within the round brackets, because those are the coordinates on the structure. And you define the square. Yeah, well, you define the square by two coordinates, which contains each of three numbers. So you put the first three coordinates of the lower left, for example, and the second coordinates of the upper right. Well, if you would look from top down on the square, which it is. And yeah, everything within these coordinates will get scanned by each, and it then tries to harvest it, the current item, current item, putting it into the fridge if it is a plant that is ready to harvest, according and only if the NPC is available, and the NPC then again checks if there are enough credits within the fridge that is named here. So that's really it. I hope this helped. Please give it a thumbs up if it did, or let me know if you have any further questions. See you around and have fun.